Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. That's a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. It's got the big 3.3, and it's been on the SMA channel about 3.5 months-ish ago. From today, we're end of October. It's about 4 months, really. It came in, remember, went to the Dodge dealer, went to all these shops, allegedly, and, nobody could fix it, whatever. We looked at it, and it had a bad PCM. It was missing the high side driver out of the PCM that was controlling the O2 sensors. So I pulled up my service notes because I try to take good notes. So it was, about 4 months, 177,000 miles at the time. It's now at 191, so there's no grass growing under this thing. And I left myself a note that says, diagnose customer complaint of engine light on with a P0 135, 138, 1128, and 0141. Tech checked vehicle, found there was no high side driver from the PCM into the O2 sensors. Tech checked the wiring from O2 sensors PCM and determined the PCM was faulty. A used one was installed, programs, keys relearned the vehicle. Tech verified operation of O2s and ran a drive cycle to verify repair. Yada, yada, yada. And here we are. So ever since my light's been on, that's what I'm told, but we wait 4 months. We've got codes in it now, different codes. A 0032. And a 0038, and then a stored 404. So this is interesting because it was missing the high side driver before. If you guys go back and watch that video, if I remember correctly, it was putting out some voltage, but we would command the duty cycle on, and it wasn't working. So now this is different because these are circuit high codes. But the weird thing is, I don't see what's wrong with it, at least with the upstream O2 sensors. So I'm gonna show you what I've done, and then I decided, well, we better make a video because I see something wrong with the rear O2 sensor, but nothing with the front. And if I remember correctly, when this was at the Chrysler dealer, they put some new OEM O2 sensors in it. Now, I don't know what's been done with it between, us putting the used computer in it and now. Let me show you. So this P0032. I'm going to show you what I did. This O2 sensor connector is easy to get to. If you remember from the first video, I unplugged it. I checked the O2 sensor. It's at 9 ohms of resistance on the heater, which I assume is normal, especially for a duty cycle controlled O2 heater. And then naturally being a high code, and it's a Chrysler, I suspected the ground. So I took a test light, hooked to battery positive, 4 amp test light, hit the ground, nice and bright. So then I went to active test, turned the O2 heater on, lights up the test light. And I said, what the world? By all means, it should work. So let me show you a quick and dirty way to do this with a scan tool if you want to skip all that BS and just go right to scan data. Now the engine's got to be cold to do this, which this one is. We just started it up, brought it in. Let me show you here. We want to view some data. So we're under active test. We're going to bank 1, sensor 1, O2 heater. So we want O2 volts. 0 to 1 plus the 5 volts and down. And then we want 1 heater temp, which is just an estimate. And then 1 heater pulse width, we'll hit OK. O2 sensor is cold, obviously it's sitting at 5 volts, or on the 0 to 1 scale, it's at 2.5. And our O2 heater is turned off. Now technically, if our O2 heater works, our voltage will drop. We can put it at a 25% duty cycle. And as that heater heats up, our voltage should come down. Takes a little bit because we're only at a 25% duty cycle. But you can see we're already starting to drop in voltage, and it'll get to a certain voltage where it'll quit, probably down a little below 1 volt. That's the throttle body you hear humming. But this is clearly obvious that this O2 sensor is functioning. The heater circuit in it is functioning. So at this point, we would have to look at code set criteria and say, why in the world would it set a high, circuit high code when it obviously works? Ground circuit's good. You see we're down, it's clearly working. So we can shut the heater back off. And our voltage should, go back up as that O2 sensor cools down. You can see it goes up pretty rapidly. Okay, so that tells me our bank 1 O2 sensor heater circuit is functioning. Now we come out, here's where I saw a problem. Decided, well, I better get the camera rolling. Bank 1 sensor 2. All right, let's pick out our same PIDs for there. So 1, 2 volts. The heater temp was kind of a worthless PID. I guess we don't need that. We'll hit OK. We're sitting at 5 volts. Again, we'll go at 25%. Now this one we got to get underneath the car. Oh. Was that PID working on bank 1 sensor 1? Let me just double check. I didn't even pay attention to that. Let's see, 1 heater. 1 volts, what is this like that? I just want to see if that PID's working. Oh, okay, it's not working on, okay. I think we discovered that in the first video, but we can see that though too, okay. All right, I just want to make sure we didn't get caught in a trap. Or at least miss a valuable clue. Let's see, so we just need 1, 2 volts. 1, 2 volts. The pulse width doesn't matter, the heater doesn't matter, because neither one of those PIDs work. We'll go 25%. And I don't know if these PIDs don't work, you know, because it's an Altel thing or what. I did have to switch the Altel. I was using the Harbor Freight, which wasn't working. It was turning the heater on, but it wouldn't allow me to look at the data PIDs. It picked its own 10 data PIDs, which were nonsense ones. So I got to call them about that. So I'll leave this on for a little bit and we can see that this O2 sensor isn't responding. It's just that, you know, it's at its base voltage. I'll leave it on for a little bit here, but what we need to do now is go underneath the car, and I'll just fast forward here. I'll let you know it doesn't do. You can leave it on all day. It doesn't do anything. So we got to go on enhance underneath this baby, jack it up and see what's up. And we should also see what the code set criteria is, how it detects a high circuit code, and why it doesn't like that front O2 sensor. The other thing we need to do while we're here, because I think this customer likes to fiddle. Maybe meddle in things that ought not be meddled in. We're gonna do a scan on it here. I want to see where we're at with the drive cycle. This way, it's good to take good notes. This way it doesn't come back and burn you. When you know, you know. What was that? Let's see. Yeah, see we got 5 monitors incomplete. So they've been doing the old code clear and drive around method. So yeah, so we have the 3 codes. So they have cleared the code, so the code must come back instantly. But this, you have to be, when you're working with the general public, trust me, you have to be aware of this. You have to make good notes saying the drive cycle wasn't complete. You know, there's no way that we could guarantee that, you know, these are the only codes in it. These need to be fixed. Drive cycle needs to be run, and then deal with whatever problems come up from there. If that makes sense to you. You work with the public long enough, you learn all the schemes. Well, let's see here. The connector is right here. See if we can't get it undone. It's undone. Let's just check our O2 heater itself. If we can do that where everybody can see, but we will fire up our voltmeter here. Hang that here. I don't know. Well, I have to get it where you guys can see. There you go. We'll go to digital meter, ohmage. Let's get our wires here. We'll use our current calibration. Make sure our leads are good. Everything plugged in here. Maybe our leads are junk. Well, they're not great, are they? There, my fingers aren't too good here. All right, close enough, I think. We're going on the same colored wire. So on this one, it's 2 white wires. We'll very gently front probe it. 4.23 ohms. So that's pretty low. I would have thought it would have been a little higher, maybe closer to 10, but it's not. All right, so something to think about. All right, I do know for a fact that it has a full-time ground and it has a duty cycle controlled power, and the ground wire on this is black. So if I can see which wire up here is black. Maybe if I raise it up a little higher, I can stay on my tiptoes here. It's kind of a pita to get to. Okay. Well, we've got the power probe. I plugged it in case we needed a power source. Let's just check it. Check the ground with it. Not a great tool to check the ground with, but we're going to check it anyways just to see if it's. All right, so that says we have a ground, at least enough to turn on the beeper on the power probe. And let me just make sure that was the black wire here. It was, that is the black wire. Now we want to make sure that that ground is good. Now it's hard for you folks to see, but I've probed the ground. Pretty sure I'm on the ground. I'll just double check. Well, I haven't probed it. I stuck a front probe connector on it here. So we're gonna stick our test light in there, 4 amps. Okay, and that light's nice and bright. So that tells us our ground circuit is good. So that's interesting. Now what we'll do, I'll get another front probe, if you will. So this is just the female half. Oops, where'd the other piece go? Right here. We're gonna go across the ground with one of these pins. If I can get it on there. Come on. So we're on the ground, and then I'm gonna go on the control side as well. If I can get it. Well, come on. We got her now. So now I'm going to come across it with a low current test light. Just a 194. We'll hold that in there. We'll turn it on at 25%. And we're not lighting a test light. Very interesting. I'm going to double check my connections. We're not lighting the test light. Uh-oh. What's that mean? Broken wire. Ground's still hooked up. And we have no voltage coming out of the PCM. Oh boy. Oh, I hope our new brain box isn't junk. Sugar. So that's not good, folks. Let me shut that off. It appears that we have the ground there. Man, that is bright. It appears we have the ground, but we don't have high side control. We're gonna have to check the resistance value of what this rear O2 is supposed to be. They were allegedly brand new, and it is, and they're supposed to be OEM. And it appears to be. But if that heater shorted out, could have burned out the high side driver in that PCM. It's plausible. It certainly is. I don't know. This is where we're at. Still don't know why it doesn't like that front one, but let's see if we can't figure out what's going on with this rear one. So PCM is pretty easy to get to, and fortunately for us, it's this pin right here, pin number 9. So connector C3, pin 9, brown with purple. We're gonna very gingerly back probe it with our test light. We're gonna get a ground here. We're gonna use our power probe just because it makes a good ground. We're not hunting for one. We'll hook that on the other side of our test light. Let's just see what's going on here right now. Nothing. And then we're going to activate it with the scan tool again here. Bank 1, 2. 25%. Son of a mother lover. No output. Let's see, we had a little bit of ghost voltage there before, so same thing we have on the back. Son of a gun. It appears that our computer is bad. Now in scan data, there is no posted ohm reading for the heater circuit. 4 ohms seems a bit low to me. Let's stop this test. Let's check our wire integrity. Let's see, we can do that by grounding this side, okay? Oops, let me get a longer jump wire here. We're gonna hook this straight to ground, okay? Let me just get a jumper wire on here to there, and then I'll find something that's not completely rotted under here. I can propose a challenge most days in my world. All right, I think we have a good ground. Let's verify that by unplugging it. Okay, our tests are light, so we have a good ground. I'm gonna reprobe it into here. Probably, I mean, I think the computer's junk anyways, but let's unplug it, if you will. And then we're gonna go on the other end of this harness now that it's unplugged. I'll leave that hanging. And we're gonna use a powered test light. I'm gonna take a test light, your plain ordinary run-of-the-mill test light. We're gonna hook the little clamp to power, which we'll just use our power probe. And then I'm gonna poke the wire on the other side. Well, front probe it, not poke it. And then technically, if all's right in the world, that light over here will light up. So I'll keep you guys right there. Son of a biscuit, man. I need a bigger cart. All right, let me pause the camera for a minute because it's gonna take me a second to get up on that other end and front probe it. All right, let's see here. I've got my probe in there. I'm gonna reach up here with a test light. I'm in the probe. Let me hook it to my power probe. Just give you the play-by-play here. Oops. I gotta set my test light down up on top of the cat here, if I can. Whoa, son of a... Will you give me a hand there, Miss O? Okay. I need you out here. Okay. See that rocker switch right here? I need you to push up on it when I tell you to. Okay, push up on it. All right, our light lights over it. Push it. Our light lights. My test light is also lit. Okay, let go. So that's it, folks. That wire is good. The wire integrity there is good. Now you're saying, Morocco, it only lit up dimly. That's because we were dividing some of that current across our test light. Our test light and our test light here are both the same current, so they both lit up dimly, but that tells us our wire is intact. And the brain box is junk. That's it, folks. There's really nothing more to see. I mean, we know our wire integrity is good. We know that the front O2 heater works. And you know, sitting around 9 ohms. Now this one back here is at 4 ohms. These are new OEM sensors though, so that's kind of sus. There is nothing in service data that gives the published information of what the O2 heater resistance is supposed to be. These duty cycle controlled ones are typically low. They're usually lower resistance than the ones that are just on. You know, those are usually right in the 20 ohm range. Perhaps that sensor is, you know, new OEM, but junk and has shorted out and ruined this. It clearly worked when we did the job because, as we have in our notes, we ran an entire drive cycle with it and, you know, everything passed. We're gonna see what we can do to get another used box. We're gonna have to order a rear O2 sensor to get a good known value from it. And there's not much else we can do. I'm gonna probably check into possibly that EGR code, but at this point, you know, we need to take care of this. Well, I went and ate lunch, and man, I got to know. Could not get an OEM sensor for today. However, we have an NTK. I called down to Namper and said, hey, send it up. And they did. So NTK is the OEM maker for Chrysler, so this should give us a very good indicator as to whether or not we are barking up the correct tree. Plus, I still think I need to change these leads. Okay, so there's that. Let's open it. Oh, it's already been opened before somebody cut the tape. We didn't. All right. We're gonna go on the same color wires, so the 2 white wires. We're not gonna open the bag. We're gonna do the hokey pokey through the bag. That doesn't feel right. We're gonna go into that one. Huh, 4.07 ohms. That's exactly the same as what we have in it. Interesting. All right, so we have to assume that that is correct. And it just so happens our new brain box is junk. Well, ain't that some stuff? That's what it is, I guess. So this is kind of curious, folks. You know, last time that it had the 135, the 138, 1128, you know, you guys can go back through and watch that video, and here we are, you know, 4 months and, you know, 15 or so thousand miles later, and the computer is bad again. Different symptom, but a similar circuit. So that really has me a little bit concerned. You know, nothing wrong harness wise, you know, it's not shorted to another circuit. It does make me concerned about that O2. I think as a precaution, what I would do if it was me, you know, we'll get another PCM, we'll get that all switched over. I would feel a whole lot better sticking an O2 in it. We don't know what's happening with that O2 sensor when it heats up. And I just don't want to take a chance. I know it's new, I know it's OEM, but I don't want to take a chance. So that's what I'm going to advise my customer to do. That we'll get a PCM, even though that rear O2 is new. I still think we should change it just to be safe. Anyhow, be safe in that comment section. Let me know what you would do, what you think. I always like reading that. Insty, Facebook. You guys know where to find us. Just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.